If I have to explain, you wouldn't understand. Do we really want to go with that? Let's dive into it, shall we? Alright guys, welcome back to this episode of Rolling with T-Bone. As we're rolling out on jazz, if you're new here, welcome in. My name's T-Bone. I shoot motorcycle related content and any kind of content really. If you are new here and you just now found us, I invite you to go watch a few of my videos. Make sure I'm right for you. And if you think I am, maybe consider giving us a like, subscribe, comment, do all that good stuff. If you're old here, welcome back. You know what's going on. Beautiful Sunday afternoon. If you are new here too, and you've noticed sometimes that I have 2 videos a week, that is not normal for me. But when the spring and summer comes on, sometimes I do 2 videos a week. It's not an always thing, so Monday is my true day of videos, but sometimes I get a chance to shoot extra content, and Thursday has always been my secondary day for uploading videos. So well, now with all that said, last Thursday's video I shot, or the last video I put out on Thursday, because it'll be a minute probably before y'all see this video, it was on Joker, of course, and thanks for the feedback off of that video too, by the way, guys. A lot of comments, a lot of good reminiscing, people talking about bikes that they have owned in the past and bikes that they own now. So thank y'all for that conversation. I enjoy reading the comments, I really do. But in that video, I tried to relay what it was like riding Joker. Whether you want to call him a chopper, whether you want to call it just a Pro Street Custom, whatever you want to call it, that bike just turns out to be fun. But somebody hit the comment section on that and made a very, valid old school statement that most of us have always just tried to run through and make it ring true. And it may have been Ray Gregory Rides or Southern Hogs, or it was one of those guys that said, if I have to explain it to you, I can explain it to you, but I can't understand it for you. Now, of course, that goes back to the old, if I have to explain, you won't understand. That makes, when you say that, you just shut down all talk about motorcycles. Meaning you don't want to take the time to try to explain it to people, because that has been the ongoing thing. And listen, guys, there are people out there who, no matter what you say to them, no matter how you try to explain it to them, no matter how much passion you put into trying to tell them something about riding a motorcycle, they're never going to understand taking the motor that gets hot, putting a tank of fuel on top of it, sticking it between your legs, and then riding down the road with it. They're never going to understand that. I don't care. You can talk. They've already got their mind set, and you're never going to change what their opinion is of riding a motorcycle. So those people, they came up with that old saying, if I have to explain, you'll never understand. That was mainly for them people who, no matter how much they talked to them about riding a motorcycle, they never understood it. But in my trying to explain the joy that I get from riding a motorcycle, I kept getting lost in my own thoughts. I kept getting lost in the monologue. And I was riding Joker, and I'm going to tell you guys, when I'm riding Joker trying to shoot content, I'm very distracted on that motorcycle, because that motor, it's not like riding the King where everything's just pretty well much there, or riding Big Papa. Joker takes a little bit of attention to ride. You got to be paying, you always need to be paying attention when you're riding a motorcycle, but with Joker, sitting on that 100-inch RevTech engine, that light frame, you know, snappy throttle. That bike has the snappiest throttle response I've ever felt in a motorcycle. You really have to be paying close attention to what you're doing. And I was just enjoying riding it so much that I started losing what I was trying to say, which is why I went through and typed in a lot of stuff during the video. So today I wanted to ride the King, jazz, slow down a little bit, and try to put riding a motorcycle, not just a chopper, but riding a motorcycle in general, for those who maybe don't understand it, but they like it. They like maybe what it represents, but they're right there on the edge, and they're not sure that they fully want to commit 100% to riding a motorcycle. I've been riding motorcycles now for about 38 years. I've been on motorcycles ever since I was about 8 years old. My dad rode, and I fell in love with riding motorcycles the instant he set me up on his gas tank and we rode down the road, and I reached up and grabbed a hold of those handlebars. I fell in love with riding a motorcycle in that exact minute. From that point going forward, I knew motorcycles would always be a part of my life. But to understand what it is that we get out of riding a motorcycle, you have to look at riding a motorcycle as what it truly is. It's a recreational activity. You know, you can do it alone, you can do it with friends. It's just like going to the golf course and playing golf. It's just like going to the, you know, ball courts and shooting basketball, getting together with your buddies on a Sunday afternoon and getting a football and going out back and playing touch football or flag football. It's something that we love to do. It brings passion, joy, it brings passion, it brings happiness. But that key word in all of that right there is passion. Motorcycle riders are a different breed. Now let me explain what I mean by that. I've got friends I got one friend that loves to ride his mountain bike. He likes to get out here on the road on his bicycle and ride. And he just loves to ride his bicycle. He exercises doing that. It gives him enjoyment. It fulfills him, if that makes sense. But when I said motorcycles are a different breed, everything you do in life, let me just say it like this. Everything that you do in your life, there's risk. Waking up every day, God allowing you another day to wake up and be on the top side of the dirt. As soon as you step one foot out of your bed, the rest of your day is done taking risks. A risk that you might fall in your house and break your arm or break your leg, or a risk that you might fall down the steps leaving your house. A risk that when you get in your car, you may have a catastrophic accident before you get to where you're going, God forbid. But you spend your entire day from the time you wake up till you're safely back in your bed taking risk. Life is a risk. And what makes motorcyclists a different breed is we know all of the risks. We know all of the bad things that can happen. Yes, we're taking a engine, putting it on a beefed up bicycle frame, sticking 3 to 5 gallons of gas on top of it, putting it between our legs, and taking off down the road. We understand that there is a risk. But what separates motorcycle riders from anybody else is we don't care about that risk. We accepted it. We know that's the risk, and we're not going to spend a whole lot of time thinking about it. And you folks who don't ride, coming through constantly trying to point out the risk, That's why we say, if we have to try to explain what we're doing here, you're never going to understand it. But like I said earlier, that closes down all conversations to be had. So when you wake up in the morning and say today's Friday, you go to work and you're really excited about this Friday because you know you're going to take off work early today, and you and 3 or 4 of your buddies are going to go to the golf club. You're going to get your golf clubs. You're going to go out there and you're going to play 9 holes. Your excitement for that is all day. And then once you go play your 9 holes, you go home, you eat, and you start thinking maybe later on about another 9 holes that you might play. Or when you get up in the morning, and today's Saturday, and there's a big car show going into town, and you've got that slick looking 55 Chevy sitting in your garage that's chromed out, painted, got a big block motor in it, and you're ready to take it to the show and turn heads. Once you come home that evening, you might be thinking about the next show, but you eat and you enjoy the fulfillment of that day. Or you wake up and today's the day you finally get to make it to the hangar. You get to pull your small airplane out, and you know you're going to get to fly your plane today. So all last night you was excited. Where am I going to fly? What's the weather going to be like? Or you wake up the next day and you decide today might be the day you grab your fishing poles, load them up on your boat, go to the lake and do a little bass fishing, or head to the ocean. And maybe today's the day you're going to get on that charter boat and you're going to go out and you're going to shoot for a marlin, or you're going to try to catch you a shark. You see, all these things I'm talking about right here, guys, is all things that you're passionate about. And yes, there's risk in every bit of that, but I would say the risk of riding a motorcycle is probably the most dangerous risk you can take. It's not safe at all. You can do things to try to make it safe for you, wearing the proper gear, making sure your motorcycle's in proper operating form, making sure your tires are good, your engine's good, all your oil levels are where they need to be. But at the end of the day, you're still riding a motorcycle. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Excuse me. I'll pollen coat it. But I'm not going to sugarcoat it. At the end of the day, there's 2 types of riders. Those who have been down and those who are going to go down. And that is the risk you accept, and you say, okay, I understand this is going to happen, but you know what? I'm still riding my motorcycle. That's what separates motorcycle riders, personally, I think, from everybody else. So you roll the dice and you buck the odds enough, eventually you are going to go down. You're going to wreck, whether, even if it's just falling over in a parking lot. Eventually you're going to go down. It's happened to me. It's happened to me on one major level, and it's happened to me a bunch of small times. I don't care how good you are at riding. I don't care how long you've been riding. I don't care if you're a damn motorcycle safety course instructor. At some point, you're going to buck the odds and you're going to go down. It happens. That's the risk that we accept. And then, like I say, you got those people out there who say, well, how can you, knowingly, what you just told us is that eventually you're going to wreck. How can you go out there and get on that motorcycle ride knowing that that's going to eventually be the outcome? because I don't live in fear. Motorcycle riders don't live in fear of their motorcycle. I've had friends get killed on motorcycles. And I've had friends to say after one friend got killed, I don't think I'm going to ride anymore. I'm going to sell my motorcycle. Once you let that little bit of fear creep in and start dictating to you what you're going to do or what you're not going to do, or the risks that you're willing to take or not willing to take, then you've lost all of the passion for doing what you love to do. And yeah, it happens. And I'm going to tell you something, guys. If you're just now getting into the motorcycle scene and you're really on the fence about whether you want to ride a motorcycle, you need to go take that motorcycle safety course. And then you need to watch the videos about what happens when things fail riding a motorcycle. Not to scare yourself, but to understand what the risk is that you really are getting ready to take when you start riding your motorcycle out on the street for the first time. And I'm not an instructor. I've not ridden in all 50 states. Each state has different laws. And as Roscoe Pico's train would say, there's a flaw in the slaw, because each state has different types of roads, different types of aggressive drivers, and that's what you really have to learn on your motorcycle journey, is what's going to happen here, what's going to happen here, and then you try to acclimate yourself to trying to learn that, accept that, and be all right with it. Basically what it comes down to at the end of the day. But I'll tell you what, guys, I've got to get a little gas. Jazz is at 114.8 miles, and I'm just now starting to touch the red line on the gas tank. So Jazz gets pretty good, decent gas mileage. But let me get some petrol lean in Jazz, and then I'll get right back with you. Trust me, it won't even take a second. See, I told you it wouldn't take long. I completely skipped all the town stuff because for whatever reason, it was just extra wild today. But, and I know some of y'all are going to say 114 miles on a tank on a Road King, is that all you got? No, that ain't all I got, but I still had above a quarter of a tank. But the one thing I don't do, or I try not to do, on my motorcycles is run them low on gas or run them out of gas. So, you know, $8-9 brings it back to full. I just refill it. But, and now having talked about all that, about trying to explain, I want to talk about one thing that it comes down to. You can line up 20 bikers, ride 20 different motorcycles, and you can ask them, what does riding this bike mean to you? And I promise you, probably, if not 18 of 20, 20 of 20 of those bikers are going to say the way it makes me feel. And, you know, no matter what feeling, there is no bad feeling to get into riding motorcycles. You know, some people can pinpoint it back to seeing Arnold Schwarzenegger and Terminator 2 riding that Harley Fat Boy, and they said that was the most badass thing I've ever saw, and from that moment on I wanted to ride a motorcycle. Or you could be a small kid sitting in the back seat of the family car, and that group of bikers pulled up next to you at the red light, and one of the bikers looked over, and just at that moment you connected, and you knew riding a motorcycle is what you wanted to do. Because the way you feel when you ride a motorcycle can be, you can equate it to anything that you do that brings you joy, brings you happiness. But riding a motorcycle produces all kinds of feelings. And the thing about motorcycles, guys, motorcycles aren't gender exclusive. Motorcycles aren't color exclusive. They aren't age exclusive. Motorcycle is just the instrument, and it's as individual as the people who use them. And I said that in that last video, and I never really got that point across, that the motorcycle makes the individual an individual. And what do I mean by that? Well, some individuals are going to want to ride a 1976 shovel head chopper. Some going to want to ride a 1940 some model, 1950 model WLA flathead. I'm calling out Slickhead and Hippie's Chopper Corner right there. And some people are going to want to ride a Pro Street Custom. And then there's some people who aren't going to want to ride a fancier motorcycle. They're going to want to strip down a Yamaha XS 650 bobber and have a blast with that. Because the motorcycle in its truest form is something that can be creatively broken down to the individual who rides that bike. Me, I like all bikes. I personally have ridden, I guess, so much and ridden so many different bikes that if you give me enough time to acclimate to it, I can feel at home on just about any kind of motorcycle that I get on. All except for Jaybird's ZX14 Busa Killer. And that's hard to explain. I'm gonna retry that one these days. But at the day I sat on that bike, I knew that it wasn't my day to ride it. And that's not something that you can teach somebody. That's just something you have to feel and learn as you go along riding motorcycles. But as for me, personally, I love the look of a stock motorcycle, like this Road King. This Road King has very few modifications other than what's been done to the engine and the 2-into-1 Vance & Hines header on it. I mean, for the most part, this bike is as beautifully stock as the day Harley-Davidson rolled it off the assembly line. And I love the look of a stock motorcycle. Some people want to radically change them. I think a stock Harley-Davidson Road King or a stock Harley-Davidson Sportster with few, change the bars to make it fit you, change the seat to make it fit you, but to keep the overall look of a stock motorcycle, I think the stock motorcycle just looks good, but that's just me personally. Like Recycle Hooligan's 1100 Honda Shadow. To me, that's a good looking bike stock. Honda really nailed the design on that bike. The Kawasaki KZ900. Again, a beautiful bike. Bleak Rides. Y'all have seen me shoot videos about the Kawasaki Vaquero, the bagger. I think that is an absolutely beautiful stock bike. The Indian Challenger, the Road Glide. I mean, I think motorcycles, now don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking the big wheel baggers, and I love the look of the Viclas, the Cholos, but if you look at those bikes, outside of just the radical parts that have been put on them, for the most part, those bikes are stock on steroids. But I just think the overall line of a stock motorcycle, especially when you have a good design team, and all of the major manufacturers, and then there have been some exceptions, like the very first ever Super Glide that Willie G. Davison designed with that boat tail, duck tail, whatever fender you call it on the back of it. That thing was ugly. But I mean, I think sometimes less is more, if that makes sense. And just like this bike here, this is the Road King Special. This bike came out with some special parts on it from the factory that I'm so thankful didn't get took off and thrown away. And if you guys don't remember, or you haven't been on this road, instead of taking out left back there to go back the way we come, I decided to go straight, which leads me into one of my favorite summertime areas. But you know, how does it feel driving that muscle car? Or, you know, how does it feel driving that exotic sports car? You know, how does it feel driving that vehicle that you always wanted and then you had to wait till later in life to get it? It's the feeling of it's the feeling of nostalgia, especially in the motorcycle world, because a lot of us as kids remember first seeing that motorcycle and first falling in love with it. And like I said, the minute my dad set me up on a fuel tank and we rode down the road, I instantly knew that this would be an activity that I would spend my life doing. And 38 years later, 39, ever how long, I'm 46, I started riding my own street bike when I was like 8 or 9. So, you know, it's the way it makes me feel. Yeah, you look like a badass sitting on a motorcycle going down the road. You get that feeling of being a badass. But for me, it goes deeper than that. It goes deeper to the extent of this has become such a part of who I am. It's an identifier. But this is the one activity that I can do that I'm 100% comfortable doing it, because I have such a passion for it. I love everything about the motorcycle. I love the way it looks, the way it sounds, the way it rides. I love their individual personalities. I love their unique thumbprint. I love their attitude. Some of them have a nasty attitude. You know, it's kind of one of those things that when you develop the passion for riding a motorcycle, then you really start to understand that it's not just the bike that you're riding. It's all of them in their truest form. You can, sure, you can ride Harleys only. You can ride Hondas only. You can ride Indians only. You can ride, you know, Triumphs only. But in your heart, you can appreciate all bikes. You know, am I a super huge Triumph fan? No. I've owned them. But I've never just been a super huge, I'm going to stop riding everything else I got and to go ride a Triumph. Tell you what, guys, let me double back here and check on these guys real quick. I'll get back with you in just a minute. All right, they're cool guys. Of course, I didn't ask them if they wanted to be on camera. A lot of people don't do that. They did, you know, ask what I was shooting, and I talked to them about shooting my YouTube page. But again, you know, there's another whole different type of bike, which is the ADV bike, the on-road off-road. And in talking to them, I told them kind of what I was doing with today's episode, and they said it's absolutely the feeling of being able to be on two wheels, be out in the mountains. And y'all know I love that, because y'all new people want to scroll down through my old footage, you'll find some episodes marked off-roading with T-Bone. You'll check those out. But if you're on the fence about buying a motorcycle, you know, you're scared of traffic, you're scared of you know, being ran over, those are all legitimate worries. But life is short, and I know you're going to hear everybody say this about anything that you can be passionate about, whether it be hang gliding or, you know, flying a helicopter or running your bass boat. Don't forget to live, and don't let the fear of the unknown keep you from living. Because to explain riding a motorcycle, over the course of this last 2 videos I've shot, you've seen there's no easy way to explain it. But it can be explained. in a sense that we're as passionate about riding motorcycles as you are passionate about whatever it is you do in your life. Whatever you do at the end of the day that brings you joy, that brings you comfort, that brings you happiness, just apply it to riding a motorcycle, and that's what it does for us. You know, buy the motorcycle. Don't go out and buy the most expensive motorcycle, of course, but buy a motorcycle that you can learn on. And, you know, you'll know within one ride if it's for you or not. You know, if you've always wanted to try and you go buy a bike and you take it down the road and you come back and you go, you know, that's not really what I expected it to be. Trust me, you'll sell that motorcycle. You'll sell the motorcycle, don't worry. Buy a used motorcycle and you'll sell a used motorcycle. You know, yeah. But who knows? You may buy that motorcycle, jump on it, go down the road, and come back and go, man. And this is the one I hear the most of. Why did I wait so long to do that? And guys, I've heard that one a lot in my motorcycle life. People wait till they're, you know, middle ages, family's already grown, you know, kids are grown, they're getting close to retirement, then they finally decide to go buy a motorcycle and they say, man, I missed so much. Why didn't I do this when I was younger? Why didn't I do this when, you know, I was 25? And if it's something that you're passionate about doing, you'll find a way to do it and you'll find the time to do it. And I hear that one more than anything. Why did I wait so long to do this? Because it's just like anything else. If you're waiting for the right time, there's never a right time. There's only this time. You know, people, young couples out there are trying to wait till the right time to have a kid. There's no right time to have a kid. There's no right time to buy your first home. There's no right time to own your first motorcycle either. So don't wait until life passes you by and then live it full of regrets. Why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? And I'm not saying you have to go out and buy a motorcycle and ride 1,000,000 miles in 1 year. Even at middle age, you can still begin your journey and grow and evolve with your motorcycle riding, just like with anything else in life. But there it is, guys. I hope I've explained it a little bit better this time. I went back and then edited in that other video, and I never really got around to the point I was trying to get to. And because of riding Joker, controlling Joker is a little more taxing, or it deserves your full attention. And if I could ride and moto vlog on Joker all day long just talking about stuff. But to get to a specific train of thought, I kept finding myself distracted. So it made for a great video, and y'all responded great to that video. Good views, good comments. But yeah, I hope this one, I maybe got it a little dialed in a little better. You know, explaining riding a motorcycle is it's just a passion. You know, and it's a passion. If I'm going to close this all up by saying one thing to you about this, it's a passion you have to discover for yourself. I can't tell you what it's like for each individual. I can only tell you what it's like for me. So going back to that comment, I can explain it to you, but I can't understand it for you. It's very true. Get the bike, find out for yourself. Maybe it's for you, maybe it's not for you. But don't let the fear of things stop you from living. Got me a dog running up the road here. There he is. You're like, what are you doing? Never got him out of the grass, guys. He's a barker, but he's a good dog. He never came off the grass. But you'll see all kind of animals in my older videos. Cows standing in the middle of the road. I actually had to rustle a cow back into back into the pasture riding Joker one day. But yeah, don't let the fear of something stop you from doing it, because there, like I said, there are so many unknowns in life. You run a risk getting out of bed every day. Don't let the desire to want to do something pass you by just because of uncertainty. You know, you don't have to ride in the city. You know, load your bike on a trailer and go out into the country where you live and get on some back roads and just learn to ride. And never get complacent. Never get so comfortable that you think you are just beyond wrecking. Never get so comfortable that you start saying to yourself, man, I am a perfect rider, I'm an excellent rider, I will never wreck. Because right then is when you're about to wipe out, and you're going to wipe out hard. Because wiping out happens to all of us. Like I said, that's something that we accept. That's a risk that we accept. And the minute you get complacent, the minute you get a little bit too big for your britches, that's the minute you're going to end up on your back. But I tell you what, guys, I'm going to drop this video off right here. I think I got it across a little bit better this time. So thank y'all for coming along with me. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, hit that little notification bell so you know when I upload videos. And if you are new, consider giving us a subscribe after you check out a few of my videos. We're growing, guys. We're over 500. I don't know where we're at, but I also want to do this too. Let me do this in closing. I want to say congratulations to Recycle Hooligan, who's hit over 500. Moto Bomb Virginia hit over 500. Graybeard Biker hit 500 subs. So, you know, I don't want to say it's because we're growing together and we're always shouting each other out in our videos, but we've all had the same kind of growth over the last few weeks. So it's what I've always said. Let's support each other and let's grow together. But guys, till the next time, y'all take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And hey, thanks for watching.